Hello, my name is Alan Jacobson with First Look. Today I'm going to go through the USAR LR. That LR stands for long range. That's our #1 selling kit. It comes in the Pelican case. It's fully loaded with lots of accessories, which I'll go through today. What I will not go through today is the operation of the camera and the software. That'll be done in a separate video. All right, so let's get started. The USAR, Urban Search and Rescue Kit, has gone through 3 big iterations. There's the original camera that was brought out at the beginning. Let me just go right here. This is the original FIRSTLOOK 360. There was actually even a version before this, which was just basic foam. So we went to this high capacity, non-shrinking foam very early in the beginning of the FIRSTLOOK 360 camera history, and this was a particular version we had with all the sort of accessories in a canvas bag inside here, but we went into this shaped foam kind of thing. Now, you just skip these 2 other kits, ignore those. Now we have a little more structured foam. We've gotten rid of the bag, and now you can see all of the different accessories for the most part as you look down on it. So if something is missing, something was not put back after a training session or after a deployment, you can quickly see that maybe the eye hook was missing, or the paint pole adapter, that kind of thing. All the batteries are in place, that kind of stuff. So we've kind of changed the foam around again, and there is even another change, which I'll get into as I go through the accessories. So I'm just going to start from the right and move my way left through the kit. First, I'll talk about the Pelican case itself. So the Pelican case itself was designed to be in a pallet horizontal as opposed to vertical like a lot of our competitors, right? So it just made it easy for the logistics guys out there just to be able to transport it, particularly FEMA, who sometimes have to put it on a plane and ship it somewhere, or fill up the back of a truck, and it's easier when it's pallets that can be stacked. For a lot of USAR teams, the kit sits on a heavy rescue truck, and generally it fits quite nicely in most of the cabinets that are out there in that truck. So starting at the far right, we have the camera itself. Okay, so the camera itself, I usually sit it inside the case with the lenses facing into the foam as opposed to being upright, where you can read the FL360 and then having one of the lenses exposed. In case something falls on the case, you won't crack that lens. So I like to put it in sideways so that it protects the lenses in the foam. Right. There's also on the camera itself, there's these little ridges that come up so that even the foam doesn't necessarily touch the lens each time you put it in and out. The ridges protect that. So with the camera itself, so this is the full function of the camera. That's why it's such a versatile camera, because it's not permanently attached to a pole. It's not permanently attached to a wire or anything like that. It's wireless, and it's this size. You can carry it in just like it is right now. Or you can attach a lot of the accessories that I'll be showing you through it. So the camera itself has a speaker mic lid. So when I remove this, which I'll go into when we talk about the actual operation of the camera in a separate video, it just pulls this one off, and then you can either have a choice of a speaker mic lid or an environmental lid. So the environmental lid is there so that you can put the camera into 10 feet of water for 30 minutes, basically on a rating of IP68. If you're going to do that, please use the environmental lid. It just doesn't have any holes in it whatsoever. Now, the speaker mic lid, it does have some waterproofing properties as well. So if you're using it in a space and you accidentally submerge the camera into something liquid, it will not penetrate the camera, provided it's secure and the little yellow or orange tag isn't sticking out of the lid, which helps you pop the batteries out. So just make sure about that. So that's the camera and the lid. So they just sit nicely. The lid sits underneath the one you're not using, and then the camera sits there. Next up, we have the active Samsung Tab Active Pro. Currently it's version 4. There is a version 5 that's come out. We always try and choose the Tab Active series, the Pro series, because the tablet itself is also IP68. So if this gets submersed by accidentally, you drop it in a pool or something like that, you can pull it back out again, wipe it off, and continue to use it. It's fully sealed. Now, having said that, this case does come apart, and you can actually add a SIM card to it. So if you want to put it on a data plan, or you can add additional memory in the micro SDs, or replace the battery if it's no longer giving you full battery life. You can get a new one, pop it in, you're back to 100%. Not a lot of tablets do that. This one does. So it's a great tablet. Has the bonus of a pen, so that if you're actually in wet conditions and your fingers, it's not really getting the response you want, you can use the pen. Or if you're wearing heavy-duty gloves, you're in an environment where it's really risky to have bare hands, use the pen. Now, we can't notate or anything like that in our software yet, but it's one of our things that we're working towards. The RAM mount that comes in the same sort of area that the tablet sits in is ideal for actually using the tablet when it's not connected to the pole as well, because it just gives you something a little bit more to hold on to than just the sides of the tablet. So it's actually quite nice with that RAM mount ball on there. There's a neat little trick with the pole, which I'll show you now. So this pole will extend out to 10 feet, okay, the camera itself. Now, 10 feet is the magic number for two reasons. A, it compacts small enough to fit in the Pelican case to keep it in that horizontal position on a pallet. Also, when you extend it out 10 feet and you run the included hard wire through it, right? So it just slides down the pole, comes out through this anodized piece here, plugs into the camera. It's, coiled so that when you extend the pole, it just extends inside. You do need the 10-foot cord to go underwater. Wireless does not work underwater. So when you extend this out, the camera goes to 10 feet. That's the length that you can go underwater. So it kind of keeps you in that safe zone as you're using the camera underwater with the hardwire cable. Now, it is designed, this pole, so that I can actually take the RAM out and mount it onto the pole, and we can use it like a traditional early search cameras of the past, right, where they were all connected through a hardwire or through a monitor. Excuse me. So that's the RAM mount system that we have on here. It also has, the AR-15, a little adapter tripod here, so we can actually set the camera down and it won't roll around on the rubble pile. It helps protect it. You can also use it as like a pivot point using this thing here. Right, so that just pops up there. This part will actually remove, and I like to show this because this is something I learned only last year. And I've been doing this for a while now, since 2019. And let's see here. So I just attach this little RAM mount piece on the back of the ball, and now I can hold on to it with this. Or what I can do, let's see if I got a spot, I can set it down and it'll hold it like a monitor. So this little side here acts like a leg, right? So that's a great way to use the tablet in the field. You can set it down on something and it won't fall flat. You can sit upright and then you can use it one finger on the tablet and another one to position the pole. Although what I'll go into more detail with the use of the camera is that we always recommend that you use as a two-person operation. So let me just pop the pole back there. It does have a shoulder strap that's situated here that goes on the pole, so you can wrap it onto your shoulder. If you have to let it go, it doesn't fall anywhere. Continue with the monitor. We do have the sun shield that goes on. It's a little harder to put it on if you've got it inside the RAM mount case. Regardless, you'll use this for a few times and then unfortunately it will likely break on you, and I apologize for that. We've been looking high and low for a better model of this. It's just not out there to be found. Generally, when we recommend is that when people use it as a two-person operation, the person with a tablet can now take a cloak or a jacket or something like that they have with them, put it over top of their head, block out the sun, the rain, the snow, and then it also makes the tablet pop. Right, as far as visually seeing what's on the screen, we don't have the sun shining directly on it. So that person is sitting dormant underneath cover, and the other person is moving around with the pole to get into void spaces. So that just resides down here. Like I said before, then the tablet, I usually put it face down inside. So what I do is you have to remove this piece because it's got to sit in a spot right here. And then what I do is I reverse the tablet. I put it facing inside, so you can see this is the back of the tablet, so that when I put it back in the case, the screen isn't sitting up and exposed. Again, if something gets dropped on the case, it's in there open, and somebody walks by and drops something on it, it's less likely to shatter that Gorilla Glass that's on the unit. Moving along, we do have in the spot in the center, we have a behind the head headset set. It's designed to work with most rescue helmets and stuff like that, so you can still wear the helmet, and it is behind the head, the band going in behind. It's got the 3.5 millimeter plug to go into the side of the Samsung Active Pro. If you happen to be using a Apple iPad, you're going to have that little dongle that goes either USB-C to 3.5 or Lightning to 3.5. We recommend the USB-C if you're using iPads with the system. I'll go into that more with the operation. So we got that. It's got a 24 NR rated, which means it helps protect your ears. Drops the sound level outside by 24 dB. But what that actually does is it helps block out more of the sound around you so that you can listen more closely to the speaker and the microphone, specifically in the front of the camera. So that's the headset that comes with it. In this spot, it's a little tight, but you can also fit the 100-foot optional hardwired Ethernet cable in there and the headphone and still close the case. It makes it a little easier once you've used this a few times, and it's a little bit more pliable, so you can shape it a little better. But the 100-foot cable is an option, but it does fit inside the case, and when we ship it, it comes inside, which saves on shipping costs on a second box when you purchase it. And then when you're moving it around, you're less likely to lose it. If you go for the 300-foot optional for the long-range camera, we've also got a cable bag you see back here that from PMI. They made for us. It's got padded pockets, so you can take the necessary items out of here, slide it into the bag, and then bring it on site and drop a 300 drop vertically, and it protects all the components with those padded pockets. So that's the 100-foot. It would sit here in the center. Moving along, this is where it gets a little more interesting. So on the original kit, the USAR original camera, sold throughout to just right after COVID, we brought out the LR version. We were forced to because chips became non-existent. We had to redesign the camera, and then we added some capabilities to it at that time. So originally it came with this black power bank. So this is to operate the tablet when you're on the field for quite some time. So the batteries themselves, which I'll get to, charge really fast. The tablet, not so much, right? So if you're out in the field, you get about 7 hours on the tablet, the big Active Pro. If you're running low, you can plug a USB-C cable into this 10,500 milliamp and run the tablet for extra long. Now with the fact that we operate both Android and iOS and phones, mobiles, a lot of mobiles will run our FIRSTLOOK 360 software, that doesn't become an issue because you can just grab your department issued phone and use it instead while you're charging your tablet. So now we have lots of versatility with the new software and opening it up to iOS and Android. But so this black one came with the first ones, and then when the LR came out, we came out with these gray version set in the same spot. Basically the same idea, it's just that this one couldn't find it anymore, so we went to this one. And now, because we sell internationally, we're in over 24 countries now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Shipping a 10,500 milliamp lithium-ion battery by air is a real problem. So we've had to remove it from our international sales. And we decided to do that for everybody. So now we take this 10,500 milliamp out, and it started a few months ago, and we've now replaced it with this extra charger. So it's a 2-bank charger. It's a 2-bank charger that doubles as a power bank. So the batteries themselves are like 3.7 milliamps, 3,700 milliamps, so that would give you 7,400 versus 10,500, but it's still able to run your tablet for quite a few hours using the lithium-ion batteries that come with the kit. So we've actually, excuse me, just drop the lid here. We've included a second charger, which is a backup, which is nice, and it doubles as a power bank, and that now replaces that 10,500 milliamps. So if you buy a new kit as of now April 2025, you're going to get this instead. So 6 batteries and an extra charger. So I think it's a nice compromise. That's actually a benefit, and maybe it's something we would have done a lot earlier, but this wasn't really available. Now this one, now speaking of chargers, because we do include a 4-bank charger, a USB-C, they're both USB-C, so it makes it more convenient, using these types of devices rather than a transformer like the original, which took up a lot of space in the kit. This is a lot smaller profile and allows you to plug directly into a vehicle USB slot, and you don't need to carry around that cigarette lighter adapter anymore. So this battery charger will take a 0% lithium-ion 18650 batteries that we include in the kit from 0 to fully charged. This one will not. So if you get a 0 battery and you put it in here, it won't bring it back to life. You have to use this charger. So just bear that in mind when you have this kit. That it does happen sometimes where it's something left in the camera right to the bitter end, and we will draw right down to the end. And 0%, the camera will generally operate a little bit weird, but it could be sitting down on the ground, not running, and not turned off, and then go to 0%. So anyway, just bearing that in mind, if you're having issues recharging your battery, always use this one, not this one when it's 0%. So that's USB-C, both of those. I think that's really clear. The batteries themselves are the 18650, which I alluded to earlier. They're dynamite batteries. They're pretty well bulletproof. They have like a 3,000 cycle, so you can charge them every day for 8 years. I mean, they will still decline, just like if you look on your iPhone. I mean, I don't know if Android does it as well, but your iPhone, you can look to see what percentage of the quality of your battery remains. So it will deteriorate over time, but it's a long-lasting battery, really solid. So if you're having issues with your battery, we always suspect the charger before we suspect the batteries. Always, almost always. And we have to admit that in the original kit, we supplied this X-Star charger. It was a lot fancier. It had the ability to drain the batteries to 0 and refresh them. It had lots of features, but it's turned out to be quite a problematic charger. So we made the move quite some time ago now, almost over 2 years ago, to this new charger here. It also requires a transformer, so that was another problem with this charger. Now, we were warranting these up to recently at no charge, but now if you have one of these chargers and it fails on you, you need to go out onto Amazon and you can buy one for $40. Mind you, that's pre-tariff. I don't know what they charge now. And you can have it delivered the next day. Or you can move to the new charger, which is called the VC4SL. VC4SL. This is a better charger, uses the USB-C, doesn't use the transformer. Move that to this one. All right. So that's all of our chargers and our battery. Just one more note about the battery. It comes in this orange little case. It's there to protect yourself if you've got it in your pocket. It's not if doesn't connect to positive and negative to keys and coins and stuff in your pocket and create a circuit. So it's just easier to carry it around. It's also one of the reasons we can ship this kit easily, because this is one of the means of isolating lithium-ion batteries for shipping, right? Now, it's also useful if you're out in the field and you run the batteries down and you made a change on batteries, you can put them in upside down. So now when you get back to, after the thing is done, oops, I didn't do them both, right? So now, if the black area is right by where the circuit normally, the positive circuit normally is, you know these batteries need to be charged. So it's kind of a little trick to use this case in a way to tell you information later after a long day of being out on the rubble pile, right? So those are the batteries. I don't think I've missed anything on that. They're great, great batteries. Interestingly enough, we've been doing this for quite some time. We have the ability to use CR123A disposable lithium-ion batteries. There's like a little housing you can slide them into and then insert them into the camera. On the original, it worked just fine with 4 fresh batteries. But on the LR, there's something we encountered well after it was designed, built, bought hundreds and hundreds of boards, that there's too much power going into the camera. It won't start with 4 of the CR123As at full power. So what happens is we've actually included a dummy. So you can run 3 CR123As in the LR camera, not 4. Or if you lose the dummy, all you do is take one of the expired CR123A batteries and it'll act the same thing. If the batteries are a little bit run down, it'll probably start the camera. It's just that max power of 4 CR123As that's caused an issue. So we're still including it in the kit. So we made the decision not to pull it based on this new information. So just be aware that if you're having issues with that, and you haven't, you can call us and we'll inform you if you haven't watched this video. All right, so let me just slide those back. They have a space for them as well in the case. So you'd never, you know that they're missing if they're not in there. Coming up, when I was talking about the camera being versatile, so we include an eye hook. So you can actually screw this into the back. Oops, I'm just dropping everything today. There we go. You can screw this into the back of the camera, and now we can do a vertical drop. I usually thread it a little bit longer, but don't over tighten. You don't need to go super tight. I know you guys all work out and you're all strong, but don't over tighten everything as you put it together. Now, so I always recommend that you have one cable for the descent and bringing it up and down, and one cable to keep it from spinning, and then the hard wire. So why the hard wire? It's 60 feet line of sight wireless for this camera. So if you're dropping it vertically over the side of a building, that means now you're leaning over the building with the tablet. Get the optional 100-foot cable and do your vertical drops, or the 300, and do a vertical drop over using hardwire. So the hardwire plugs in, and then you have the 2 ropes. A lot of teams have created umbilicals for this so that they have one umbilical that has the hardwire inside and has the ropes already ready to go for vertical. If you're doing a horizontal entry, the ropes and stuff really don't get in the way because it's such a small umbilical for that. So that's the eye hook. Again, always a couple devices. Never have just the cable holding your valuable camera because it is the most expensive thing in that kit. The other thing is we also have a paint pole adapter. This works really well in the U.S. Internationally, we're still a little skeptical. In some countries, the paint poles are a little bit different. So if it doesn't work in your area, we apologize for that. Maybe you can find one that does work in your area. But this is nice. So this allows me to get to like what we used to, in the old days, called a super probe, where it was like a 20-foot camera. So you can actually go to Home Depot, buy a paint pole that goes 20 feet and attach the camera to the end of it and look in 2nd and 3rd story windows, or up into barn attics and stuff like that. When you're after a flood, you're going through and you're clearing all the homes. Everybody goes up as the waters rise, and they might be tired, they might be dehydrated, they might not be responsive. You need to find them while they're still alive and breathing. So that's where a paint pole adapter would come in handy. From what I understand, it goes into every kit automatically now that we sell, except for the dry well kit. We don't include it with that. So those they have their specific spots to go into. And then the one last device, 2 last devices actually, is the 4mm screwdriver that we use to take off the battery lid, right? So that's included in the kit. If you lose it, it's 4mm. It's easy to find at a hardware store. The other thing is there's a little Allen key, and they're like, what is that for? Well, in the proper use of the camera on the pole, how we teach it, there's a little cap on here I take off. By the way, if you lose that little cap, I mean, you will quickly, it's no big deal. So you thread it on, and how it's designed is that when it reaches the end of the thread without going tight, just firm, the FL360 heat sink is to the right of the pistol grip, right? And if it's not, because this is the right camera, this is the left camera. If you have them rotated up and down, it'll automatically adjust to right and left automatically. So even if you have it upside down, same thing as if you have it sideways, you're still looking up with the right camera, but on the view, right, if you got it the other way, it'll always revert to right. So that's a new thing with the new software. So you must update to the latest software and Android version of your tablet. If it's Android 11 or higher, you can use the new software free of charge on the Android Play Store. So if it doesn't align up, say for instance it's like that, you can take this Allen key and you can actually release this collar right here, and it's got 2 Allen key screws on it, and then you can turn the collar, release the collar, so that at the end it always lines up this way. That's what the Allen key is for. All right, so I think that's pretty well it. The only thing I want to say is that we made, it's kind of our mission to try and find all the accessories and the parts that we use in our camera online, and we don't manufacture them ourselves. Like this pole, we don't manufacture the pole. All we have is the anodized pieces front and back that we actually have anodized for us. If they come apart, they are glued with a Loctite glue, but in some hot, humid areas, they have come, apart. All you do is you just basically sandpaper down the thing, put a new super glue on there, slide it together, and it'll glue it right back on again. So the anodized pieces are not ours. Everything else is like ram mount. The camera, of course, we build from scratch, so that's unique to us. The cables are built specifically for us because it's USB-C on one side and it's Hiroshi connector on the other side, right? What else? The headsets are made for us specifically, although you can find behind the head headsets with 3.5 plugs. I actually recommend everybody use Bluetooth, because you got Bluetooth open on the tablet. We use Wi-Fi for the camera. You have Bluetooth you can use for your hearing. Same with the 10-foot cord that comes with it. On the 10-foot cord, you also need to change the password on the camera. So that's something new with the new software update that you can do with the 10-foot camera. But otherwise, like the chargers, the batteries, if you buy the batteries online, make sure they're like a Panasonic cell and they have the circuit, the protective circuit on it, right? But otherwise, chargers, the eye hook, the paint pole adapter, the shoulder harness, the RAM mounts, the tablet, all of that can be bought online, and you can replace pieces that are damaged or missing. So I think that's a pretty cool way of going about it. It's kept our costs down, which we've actually shared with you, the users. Our products are typically 20 to 30% less expensive than our competitors. And one of the reasons for that is the fact that we don't make everything. We don't make the batteries, we don't make the charger, we don't make the poles, we don't make the VDU, the video display unit. That's a huge cost saving, massive. You have no idea how big that is. All right, so as I put everything away, it's super easy, right? There's a space for everything. I can look down here, and nice compact, closes. It's a good solid case, right? We're really pleased with this. This is our #1 selling kit. If you've purchased this kit, we appreciate it. We'd love to hear from you if you use it in some pretty cool places. If you have any issues, questions, concerns, please pick up the phone, send an email, all of that. We usually add that information at the end of this video. I don't do that editing part. I just do the talking head part. So anyway, thank you very much, and I appreciate the time you've taken to watch this entire video. Take care.